Hello, our nerds! We are live. It is Sunday, October 24th, which means we are a week and a day from NaNo. Right? Yeah.
Yep.
And so very close. And it's going to be great. Whether you are super prepared or not at all prepared, there is still time. Tonight, our chat is going to be themed all around getting prepped for NaNo. We usually have write-ins on this channel. If you've never seen them before, we set amounts of time to write, and then we work for that set amount of time, and then we come back and we cheer each other on. We chat about how our projects are going. If you have any writing or reading related questions, you can ask them in the discussion section, and we will try to answer them live. And yeah, so today the whole theme is just getting ready for NaNo. So we'll have really loose prompts, but you don't have to follow them. If you're on a roll, just work on whatever you need to work on. And it's going to be a great time. Hello to everyone who is in the discussion section. Say hey if you haven't yet. We are so happy to see you all here. It looks like we've got people coming from different writing conferences, which is very cool. Welcome. We're glad you're here with us. Hopefully you can take all the inspiration from your writing conference and now be productive afterwards. I
used to go to SOIC all the time. I miss it.
So yeah, what's everyone going to be working on tonight as far as prep is concerned? Kelly?
So last week I finally decided what I'm going to do. So I'm writing like a haunted house survive to the end of the book, choose your own adventure kind of game thing. Yeah. Not sure on the logistics, but I've just started coming up with the actual like idea. So I need to do some actual just like brainstorming.
Excellent.
See how it goes.
Aaron.
What, me?
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, I am getting ready to dive back into sort of rewrites, I guess. I am kind of, rewriting the mess that is my current work in progress, which is the dark academia, queer girls, psychopaths, all that good stuff, evil forests. So I'm just rewriting like large chunks of that for NaNo.
Nice. What about you, Kyra?
I honestly am just trying to like get in the zone. I just finished a revision, and so my brain is like still kind of thinking about that other book, and I need to get it thinking about this book. I don't do a real outline, so I have some stuff planned, but it's going to be a lot of wing it, but I do need to get in the headspace.
So during the sprints, are you just going to be like punching the air in the background? Like, yeah, get in the zone.
You'll just see me like doing the Leslie Knope like power karate chop. No, I'm going to start by rereading like the notes I've made about this, and then maybe try and like do a Pinterest board or a playlist, because those are things that kind of get me like in the zone.
Nice.
But I might do some karate chops too. So
you got to.
You should.
You got to.
We all should.
Yeah.
We all should.
I was not going to do any nanoing this year, but I recently actually decided to start a new project, which was not in the plans for this year. But so I'll probably work on that. I don't plan on like writing 50,000 words in November or anything.
Unless.
But maybe, who knows?
I didn't plan on writing this book, so
yeah, it's true. So I need to actually like figure out the plot other than just like notes in my Notion template. I need to actually like figure out the plot for real. So I'll probably be going between that and creating a Spotify playlist for it.
Nice. I am working on plotting. I've got half a plot here, and I've got ideas for the other half of the plot. So I'm hoping to organize the other half of the plot tonight so that in the rest of the week pre-NaNo, I can search for plot holes, because I am plotting hard this year, scene by scene, and it's a lot. So,
Megan has a very ambitious story she's working on.
I do,
So she needs
yes.
to...
It's a lot of points of view, a lot of moving parts, which normally I would not plot this much, but just this once. Let's see. We've got Jo Catherine is finishing up a story for NaNo right now, finishing up a different short story and reworking the plot line for my NaNo. And Griswold, always excited for NaNo. I plan to brainstorm, hopefully outline the middle of my story. Andrew, my goal for tonight is just trying to get my typing speed back up to where it was last Nano. Oh, I didn't even think about that. I have not been writing enough. I'm going to be way slower. Joe Catherine is trying note cards. Yay! I love note cards. Anyone who's watched this channel for any amount of time knows I love note cards. Big fan. Crazy Foxy said playlists are absolutely critical. I was stuck until mine was in place. Y'all are in luck, actually. All the prompts for today are just themed more around inspiration rather than trying to help you come up with a plot or anything, because we've done a lot of Preptober chats already, one on plot, one on characters. So I didn't really want there to be any redundancies, and I thought it would be fun to have just like straight up inspiration themed prompts. That way you can just have a good time and get really excited and be happy to start your project when November 1st comes. And then you can use it for more serious things, obviously, if you're in the right headspace for it. So yeah, maybe we'll get started at the 45.
Sounds good.
We'll start with a 15-minute like warm-up sprint. Usually we do 20-minute sprints, but mix it up because we're wild.
Playlists has got me looking at like, oh, there must already be tons of haunted house playlists. And like the first few I found were like those like tapes they used to play when like, creepy house noises you play on Halloween to make your house creepier.
You can find lots of like spooky house ASMR, like spooky woods ASMR. Like if you type in ASMR, I bet you find more stuff.
I think I want like actual just like vibe music.
Scary.
Right now.
Like yeah, some ASMR has music in the background, right? I don't know if you want actual like spooky noises other than just music though.
Spoiler alert, our second prompt is making a playlist. But you could try looking up like, I found a really good spooky playlist by searching Spotify for vampire vibes. Or like ghost vibes.
Two Steps from Hell also has a whole haunted house album, which is very good. So
Halsey's new album. It's very spooky. Great for that
almost
vibe.
Always, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, but I feel like the power dynamic there is wrong. Of like, she feels very powerful in that album, and I want it more of like the house is gonna eat you vibes.
Like like Billie Eilish's like first album, where it's like teen spooky.
Teen spooky.
I clicked on a random playlist, and there's just a song in the middle that's called "Sex with a Ghost." So,
all right,
perfect. Why not?
Not sure what to expect from this one.
Plot twist.
I think you should write that into your choose your own adventure. You see a ghost.
Not
Do you have
quite
sex
the
with
vibe.
it?
Do you have sex with it? We've got a question from Vila Ponza. Any tips for making writing playlists? So we will talk about that after the first sprint, since the second one is playlist themed.
Megan planned for it, and I took things off the rails. I'm sorry.
That's just how it goes in Sunday chats. And yeah, if you have any other questions, definitely let us know. Your first prompt for the evening is going to be, if you want a prompt, take these 15 minutes to write down all the things you love and hope for with this idea, and put it somewhere that you'll be able to look at it easily during November. So whether that's handwriting it so you can tape it to your wall, or just putting it at the top of what your Word doc is going to be. Just put it somewhere where you'll be able to access it easily. All the things you love about what you've come up with.
Your wallpaper on your computer would be a good one.
Ooh, yeah, that's a great idea.
Usually I do like the NaNo calendar during November, but
yeah. So I will put that in the discussion section and up on the little banner. And in the meantime, it's go time. in time. How did that go for everyone?
Progress.
Went over all the plot points that are left. So I am refreshed up.
I created my project in Novelpad, so it's pretty official now.
It's always exciting.
We had a comment from Ann Griswold before we started who said, "Oh, I love this prompt. It's like Susan Dennard's magical cookies." That's what I was thinking about when I came up with the prompt. Oh, this is great. And Griswold said, "Can we share one thing from our list? I'd love to hear what everyone loves about their story ideas." So while people are putting that in the discussion section, if you feel comfortable doing so, maybe we could all share like one thing we're excited about with our projects that we're working on. I can start so you guys can think for a second, just in case you weren't doing the prompt. I'm very excited. This is my first adult horror novel. I've written a lot of YA horror, which I love. But there's like different themes, I feel like, that show up in adult horror. And I'm really excited to play with those.
I'm excited to try something a little different for Nano, because I can't remember what we said last week. This is like 15 for me, I think. So this year doing not a novel, but like something a little bit different. I'm really excited to try.
Along the same lines, I'm trying out a new genre. I'm trying out adult romance. So I'm excited to try something new too and see how it goes.
Be a little less PG. I mean, I guess it still could be in YA, but still. I am very excited because I love me a spooky forest, and that is what the story is mainly about. So get a spooky forest vibe.
I am excited for all of the potential that my manuscript has for just like situational humor. There's like mistaken identities. Both, so it's a YA romance. They're both mascots. Because they are both mascots and wearing masks a lot of the time around each other, there is mistaken identities. And I think that has like a lot of potential to just like have some humorous, like sort of sitcom-y elements to it.
Caitlin said, "I'm excited to be writing a young adult fantasy this year. I've spent quite a bit of time planning and defining the magic system."
Oh, that's so fun.
Yes. Sci-Fi Babe said, "Excited about writing solar sail spaceships."
Ooh.
And
There's a lot of alliteration. I wish you luck.
I love it. Yeah.
Anytime you try to describe this to people.
And Griswold said, "I'm excited about powerful women displaying a supportive sisterhood." That's awesome.
Yes.
Crazy Foxy said, "My story takes place in both 1710 and the present day. I'm excited to explore how many challenges back then are the same today, albeit with a modern update." Andrew,
sounds so cool.
Right? Andrew said, "I'm excited because I'm trying to mix dystopian vibes with wish fulfillment."
Oh.
Joe Catherine said, "I'm juggling more plot lines in this story than I ever have before because it's a mystery/thriller. I'm looking forward to those aha moments in the story when the plot lines cross."
Yes.
I love that. I've been reading a lot of thrillers in prep because mine's also got a lot of points of view like a thriller does. So I'd love any thriller recs if you have them, Joe Catherine. Let me go back up. If I missed your comment, feel free to post it again. I haven't seen anything weird in this discussion section, so we have not ignored anything. Naya said, "Am I the only one who thought November was farther away and is now scrambling to finish their outline because
I've been almost the opposite. I feel like it's probably because I decorated for Halloween like mid-September. I think I was just like, why not? Like, this is the world we live in. I might as well decorate for Halloween in mid-September. But because of that, like October has felt kind of long to me. And so I think in my head, I feel like NaNo's supposed to start tomorrow, but it's still another week. And also I don't plan anyway, so it doesn't even matter, but.
I was doing great. I was like, I'm gonna finish ahead of schedule. Look at me. And then I had midterms, and now we're just kind of racing towards the starting line. Vanessa V said, one and only one of my characters is immortal, and I like working with the theme that love can last centuries, even when it's no longer returned. That is very cool. Let's jump in at a weird time. Yeah, 8:07. We just jump right in. Oh no, we have to talk about playlists. Yeah. So we'll talk about playlists and then we'll jump right in afterwards, because your prompt is going to be, if you haven't yet, start putting together a playlist. If you've joined us late, all the prompts are just themed around things that I think would be inspiring to get you like really excited to start in November. You don't have to use the prompts. I know a lot of us are just using them for work, but if you want some prompts that give you an excuse to do like the non-plotting side of prepping for Nano, this is your chance. So what are y'all's tips for putting together a good playlist?
This is not something I normally do, honestly.
Go, Kyra. Kyra's great at this.
I wouldn't say I'm great at it. I do it. So I think for me, just starting with something I'm really familiar with, which is Taylor Swift usually. Sometimes it is Fall Out Boy, but usually it's Taylor Swift. And Taylor Swift, I guess, is convenient because she has like such a wide variety of, so I can kind of start with just like, what is the vibe I'm going for? So like for this one, I feel like it's a very like early Taylor Swift vibes, and usually just start there. Just go through like all of her albums that pick the ones that feel like they'll be relevant to themes or characters that I'm working with. And then I just start going through every other playlist I have and pulling things that seem relevant. It's not efficient. It works okay. If someone has a better way of doing it, please share.
I am a big fan of going on Spotify and looking up theme of the novel and vibes, like I mentioned earlier. So my work in progress has vampires in it. Just search Spotify for vampire vibes, listen to the playlists a little bit, and then just save anything that I love. I've done like spooky banjo instrumental vibes, and you can get like really specific, and there's a lot of great playlists that have already been curated that you can then go through and find things that you like.
I'm a big on YouTube, and I do the same thing as you do, would like type in, like last time I got really lucky because like Dark Academia is like having a moment, so there's like dozens of Dark Academia vibe playlists, whether you just want instrumentals or like kind of spooky type songs. But yeah, if you type in whatever X, Y, and Z vibes on YouTube even, it's pretty easy to find other people's done all the work for you and assembled playlists. So
I think it maybe depends a little bit too, like is it that you want it to like sonically like sound like the vibes? Because for me, like I think a lot of authors are that way. Like if they're writing something spooky, they want kind of spooky music. I almost care more about like lyrically, which doesn't make a lot of sense, I don't think. It's not like I'm paying attention to the lyrics and writing at the same time, but it's a process and it works for me. I have also seen people kind of like crowdsource. So like on Twitter a while back, I saw someone just tweet like, hey, what are your favorite like enemies to lovers songs? And they got some great recommendations.
Yeah, we've got some really great tips in the discussion section as well. So if you want more tips, just read back some. What were you going to say, Erin?
Oh, I was just going to say 2 Steps from Hell is also always my go-to, because they just have such a wide range of music that sounds like it should be in a movie. And they have everything from like quirky, like sort of Harry Potter-ish sounding magic music to like deeply disturbing haunted house vibes type of music. To you should be on a pirate ship type of sound, you know, like literally the whole gamut of genre is what they have on offer. So I just look up 2 Steps from Hell on YouTube again and play through whatever list I'm, you know, vibing on that day.
One thing that I am not great at like remembering to do, when I remember to do it, it's really helpful, is sometimes when I'm just like listening to music, like not creating a playlist, just generally listening to music, and when I come across songs and I'm like, this would be really good for like a book, like not anything in particular, but I like this and I could see this being like good vibe for a book. I try to like have like just like a playlist that's just like writing songs that I can like throw things into, and then like when I need to create a playlist for a book, then I can go like look through those and see if any of them fit. So
That's a great idea.
because for me, it's just like remembering. I know that I probably know the perfect song, but like suddenly I can't remember any of them.
I do
I know,
that
that's
with
how I just end up scrolling through all my playlists. Like I know I've heard music that correlates.
There's a song, I can't think of it. I do that with Pinterest too, weirdly enough. Like I'll see a vibe and be like, that does not at all match the vibe that I'm doing right now, but like my brain will like this later. So let's make a whole Pinterest board of like good, gothic cottagecore and like return to that later,
Yeah. And I like similarly on Pinterest, I have like just like a generic like writing inspiration board where I can put things that like don't apply to a specific book, but I might want to use in the future.
Not yet, but later. Yeah.
Other spoiler, that's prompt 3.
Pinterest.
Perfect. So it's all flowing. We're doing great. Let's jump in. Jump into our next sprint. We're going to go for 20 minutes. So we will check in at the 32, probably by the time I finish saying all this. So yeah, check in at the 32. The prompt is to start getting together a playlist if you want a prompt and an excuse to do something fun and inspiring for your novel. Otherwise, just keep brainstorming, keep having fun. Good luck, everyone. and time. How'd everyone do?
Good. I'm getting excited.
Yay!
Good.
That's the goal.
Yay!
I came up with 3 more scenes.
Nice.
Nice.
There's so many good like music recommendations in the comments.
Mhm.
Yes, I was just looking at all those. One of the things I've meant to mention in the last 2 chats, but it just hasn't come up right, is that you can find like fun themed Pomodoro videos. I found this one that I love that's like Lord of the Rings themed. And so it's like the sound of them going from the Shire to Bree, and you like work for 20 minutes and then you get a 5-minute break, and it's like all baked into one video. Those are great. Big recommend if music's not your thing, but you do like ambient sound. Just
I use
like
rainy
search.
mood a lot, like particularly if I have like a gloomy scene or something. It's kind of perfect.
Yeah. I've been using them a lot for homework in particular, but I also just productivity in general. I really like when someone is like, just work for this amount of time.
I love Pomodoro.
Mm.
And you can like on YouTube, like everyone in the discussion section is saying, you can just search like the vibe you want and Pomodoro, and you can usually come up with something close. Yeah, I can get a link to that.
I just have a Pomodoro app on my phone, actually. Like, obviously, it doesn't have any vibe to it, but it's really handy just to be able to like click on the app and hit the timer. Then I don't have to look anything up. But I used to do a kitchen timer, but then the tick, 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 tick. Like,
It's either like motivating or stressful.
yeah.
Yeah.
Or distracting if you're me and just want to fixate on the ticking sound.
Here's a link to the Study in the Shire one, which I've also enjoyed. But this creator has a ton of them from all different like fandoms and stuff, if I'm remembering correctly.
Isn't there one that's like you can write in like this with a supernatural, like
oh yeah, that's on Ambient Mixer.
Sam and Dean, you're like in the Impala and stuff. And
all right, so we're going to do one more productivity sprint this evening. If you've asked a question about Nano, books, writing, and we've missed it, feel free to re-ask it. We are not ignoring it. Sometimes there's just a lot of really good chat going on and we miss things. And yeah, if you're just joining us, we're the Word Nerds, some of them. There's a very large group of us, and you'll usually see about 5 of us every Sunday at 7:30 Eastern Time talking about books, writing, storytelling, general nerdiness. We do a lot. We have a great time over here. During the month of November, we are going to be doing write-ins every Sunday at 7:30 Eastern Time. And we'll probably do some weekday write-ins as well. Throw those in. You'll see us on the Nano channel once or twice as well. So if you want to be up to date on all of that, please like and subscribe. November is going to be good. So yeah, we will jump in maybe at the 40 and do a 15-minute sprint again. Just productivity generally. If you missed it, our prompts for the sprints, which you don't have to use but are there if you want them, are themed around giving you an excuse to get inspired and excited around about your projects. So our first one was writing down all the things you love. The second about your project. The second one was coming up with a Spotify playlist. And then the third one is going to be all about aesthetics, coming up with a Pinterest board or, you know, those little like blocky aesthetics people put on Twitter. You could do one of those if that's more your vibe. And so I was wondering what y'all's tips are for coming up with good Pinterest boards. How do you find things? Do you like to stick to a certain aesthetic? Or is it just chaos? How do you do it?
Chaos.
I definitely go by vibe. I'll be like, the word aesthetic brings up a lot of good stuff. Like I said, I was looking up like the cottage core aesthetic, but then I was like, no, I want cottage core but darker. So I looked up like cottage core and then gothic, or then like learned that there's such thing called cottage gore. And I was like, oh,
Yes.
a whole new world. Pinterest is really good for just like being able to put in a few words and then adding the word aesthetic and then just showing you tons of different stuff. And then also like showing you more of the same stuff once you find a vibe that you like. So I find it really easy to fall into that type of vibe and then be able to like pin a bunch of stuff in like a flurry of pinning and then be able to, constantly have that to go back to and get re-inspired.
For sure. One of the things I really like that Pinterest does now is once you get a certain number started, you can go to that board and it'll show you more ideas, like a recommended section where it's like, based on the things you've been pinning, you might like all these other things. And I am a huge
Based on
fan
all
of
of
that.
these pictures of demons that you pinned, here are more demons.
Here are more demons. The problem is then you just get sucked into like an endless loop of looking at more pictures, and I could spend hours on there.
Which is why it's great to do it today when there's a time limit.
True. Good point. Excellent point.
My only Pinterest board hack, and this only applies if you're writing YA. So like if I'm writing YA, I want to envision characters that actually look like teenagers and not like the 27-year-olds who play teenagers on TV. And so my trick for finding like character inspiration is to look for like senior pictures, because then they are actual teenagers.
Yeah, that's true. I think like Vampire Diaries or whatever the heck it is. It's giving us a warped idea of what actual teenagers look like.
Riverdale.
It's the 2000s.
He's
on
like
CW.
40 or something. Like, Lord. 40-year-old underwear model is not a teenager.
Give us your best tips for coming up with an aesthetic or a Pinterest board for your project in the discussion section. We've got 1 minute until we are going to hop into that last productivity sprint, and it's going to last 15 minutes. And it's time. So I will put all the prompt info in the discussion section in the banner. And in the meantime, check back in at 5 after the hour. I realized I mathed wrong. We're checking in at the 55. time. As we are wrapping up our last sprint of the evening, let us know how that one went for you in the discussion section. I figured out a few more scenes. Yay. And then I stared at a puppy for a minute and a half.
I noticed the puppy until now.
Time well spent.
So puppy.
She's getting so big.
I realized yesterday that after she has her first haircut, she's going to be completely blonde. So I'm just trying to cope with the fact that she's going to look like a completely different dog.
She's so cute.
But
You're
will she
muted,
still be
Tyra.
cute? I don't know.
I feel like
Definitely.
regardless of the color, Shih Tzus always look like a completely different dog when you cut their hair. They're very hairy dogs, so you like cut it short, and it's just like you are half the size you were. I don't know. My parents
But
had
apparently,
Shih
like
Tzu,
a
and
lot of them just look different after like within their first year, their colors just change.
Huh.
my parents have a Shih Tzu, and several other like extended family members do, and it always was like every time Monty got a haircut, it's just like I would do a double take as he walked into the room. So like, what is that thing? Oh, it's Monty. He's smaller now. He doesn't look like an Ewok anymore as much.
I hadn't even considered that she won't look like an Ewok anymore. She's a blonde Ewok.
Their face is
Might
still
be blonde
Ewokish.
Yeah.
Good job, V. You got 785. MM Ward made it past 3K for the day. Misty Kate found some red dresses on Pinterest for a character's date night.
Ooh,
I also got some pins. So yeah, we are gonna be wrapping up. We've been going for almost an hour and a half this evening. Great work, everyone. Like I mentioned earlier, we've got write-ins going on every Sunday during November. Next week is actually our game night. If you're new here, once a quarter we do a book club, a movie night discussion, and a game night. And so next week is our game night. It's going to be on Halloween. So we are changing the time, pushing it back a little so that anyone who wants to be out trick-or-treating or enjoying their neighborhood outdoors or anything, you'll have some time to do that, hopefully. So we are meeting at 9 Eastern, I believe it is. 9 Eastern. We are going to be playing, if you joined us for our last game night, we did a like virtual game.
Yeah. It's One Night Ultimate Werewolf is I think what it's called.
Yeah. So it's going to be the audience can participate, just as many people as want to participate. The more chaos, the better. It's going to be so fun. Yeah, it's going to be a great time. So we hope to see you there. And then we will be kicking off Nano the next day. Great fun. So please like and subscribe if you like the sound of that and want to be subscribed to our content. We've got a lot of writing productivity upcoming. So we hope you'll stick around and that you won't miss that. Let me go over these comments one last time, make sure I didn't miss anything. Yeah, great job, everyone. I'm glad so many of you had really good, productive nights. And also feel free to drop your Nano username in the discussion section if you want to add each other on Nano. We had a lot of really good conversations going. And if you drop your username, we will also probably add you on Nano. So yeah, anyone have any last minute things?
Yay for Nano.
That's my
Yay.
karate chop that was promised earlier.
That's the what?
That was my karate chop that was promised.
Yes.
Yes.
Go team, go.
Yay, all the writing. We will see you next week. Thank you so much for being here, everyone. Bye.
Bye.
Mm.